Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. So, let's jump right back in. I feel flustered again, and my mind feels foggy. I can barely comprehend what's in my mind, or in my heart. So, I am sorry. For what? For my stubbornness! Claude pulls away from me slightly and raises an eyebrow. He chuckles. Oh, but your stubbornness is one of the many things that I like about you. My heart thumps loudly. Like? Oh, I meant... Suddenly he steps back, his hand on his chest again, his breathing heavy. I stare at Claude with wide eyes. Claude, are you okay? I'm fine. He sighs out slowly, but he sounds obviously pained. I'll go get Anise. No. I'm fine. I swear it. It's just a spell of dizziness. But you... He manages a small, tight-lipped smile before he straightens and shakes his head. His hands are visibly shaking. I must be tired. But Claude... Do not tell anyone about this, okay? I don't want them to worry. Why is he always so stubborn? He is obviously in pain. I clench my hands into fists as I frown at him. Why must you always be so secretive? You're keeping something from me, Claude. I'm sorry, Melody. Claude abruptly leaves the room, leaving me with my fragmented thoughts. Chapter 9, The Rescue. Today I will land another hit on you, Karma. If you can, darling, I welcome the challenge. Princess, your side is open. I bring my sword up closer to my side as Garland strikes me. Tonight is the first night I get to use a real sword as opposed to a practice sword. The sounds of metal clashing echoes into the night. Is this what a real battle feels like? We have been practicing under skirmish conditions for the last few days. Sorry guys, I have a cough drop in my mouth because I'm sick. So if I sound funny, that's why. Since tomorrow is the day we enact our plan, we are doing some last-minute practice. Remember, fighting back-to-back is better than doing it alone. Claude dodges Jurian's sword as he speaks, but I notice that he seems to be taking special care not to look in my direction. He's been fine for the last few days, but I am not sure when his pain will return. If only he would tell me what was wrong with him. When Claude finally calls the end of practice, we are all exhausted. Good job, everyone. You'll all be fine tomorrow. Garland turns to face me, a soft expression on his face. And if it comes down to it, Jurian and I will protect you. Garland looks over his shoulder at Claude. Both of you. That's our job as knights. I'm quite capable of protecting myself, but I do appreciate the offer. It's late. We should all get some rest. The two knights excuse themselves, leaving me with Claude. Melody, you should go to bed. Princess, I have a feeling I won't sleep much tonight anyway. Be that as it may, you should still try. I'm about to retire for the night as well. I want to keep practicing. Princess, if you overexert yourself, your reflexes will be slow tomorrow. But I am nowhere near as good as Jurian or Garland. You sure you won't reconsider going, Princess? No, so please stop insisting I reconsider. I will go save my father. Claude sighs out, then leans forward to set a hand on my head. Melody, I promise you'll stay behind me if we're attacked. And if at any point it looks like we may not make it, you're to run as fast as you can back to the margin. But that is cowardly! Melody, don't you remember what I said before? Sometimes running is the right thing to do. Never run into an impossible situation. Instead, live to fight another day. Promise me that you'll stay behind me. Please, Melody, give me that peace of mind. I cannot promise that. Princess, I'll be fighting right beside you if it comes down to it. I am going to protect him. Staying behind him will only have him suffering because of me. Stubborn until the very end. I only want to be on equal footing with you. Claude sighs, but does not say anything. Let's attempt sleep in preparation for tomorrow. When this is all over, I'll pry Claude's secrets out of him. I don't think that's a good idea. Hey, Claude. Tonight is the night, and everyone is just about ready to go. I can't get this feeling of foreboding off my chest. Everyone is gathered close to the door, ready to see us off. Everyone except... Princess! Rumpel suddenly appears, a niece coming to stand right next to him. What are you two doing here? Well, of course, we came to wish you luck, just like everyone else here. We'll be waiting for you tonight so that we can celebrate everyone's return. Be careful. Melanie, who has been everywhere with her brothers since they came here, is standing right beside him now with a smile. I will pray for your safe return. Her smile wavers, and I can tell she is uncertain. She has the great knights of Caldera, 2 witches, and a prince. She'll be fine. Rod's responses are curt as usual, but I cannot help but notice the hesitance in his voice. Even though he stares at me without expression, I think I can see a tinge of worry in his eyes. Rest assured that we will keep the princess safe. We're not going to let Alcaster get away with what he did to Angiel and its royal family. Parfait steps forward last. She and Delora glance at each other, and I feel as if some secret message bounces between the two of them. Delora nods ever so slightly before Parfait returns to the rest of us. Or turns to the rest of us, sorry. Her eyes eventually fall on me. You've changed since you've been here, Princess, but your dedication and resolve never wavers. It has always been there, just beneath the surface. Stubbornness or resolve? It is as if Parfait is able to read my thoughts. She smiles and she sets a hand on my shoulder. Your dedication is very much like King Gennaro's. You are proud and honorable and always take steps in the right direction. That's why I know you'll be back tonight. Just as Rumpel said, we'll all be waiting for you. All of you. Stay safe tonight. I nod my head as everyone gathered around begins to repeat their hearty goodbyes. It is Delora who walks away first. We all follow behind. The night has just begun. Our way to the palace gates is uneventful, but we pause some distance away from them to take shelter in a nearby alley. There are knights everywhere! Waltz points to what looks like a regular section of the wall. There's a hidden door to the tunnels. There's the hidden door to the tunnels. If we time it right between the knights' patrols, we should be able to make it. On my signal. Claude puts a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. It is an abrupt gesture that doesn't last long, but the motion calms my nerves somewhat. We will be fine. Our footsteps echo in the tunnel. Standing in front of me are Jurian and Garland, who are flanking Waltz. Delora stands beside me, and Claude is at my back. This small tunnel makes it seem like we brought a lot of people. This way. We silently follow Waltz's instructions. How is it that Waltz knows about these tunnels? I have already taken into account the guards and where they might be positioned based on Prince Rod's information. We should be all right. Garland and I will act as distractions if needed. Princess, leave most of the fighting to us, if there's any to be done. I know. I will only fight if I need to. If only I wasn't cursed, I would be able to fight to my full extent. I think you're still quite capable without all of your magic, puppeteer. Oh, a compliment. Well, it's an honor, Miss Karma. I'm only in this dress because of Jurian, you know. Jurian crosses her arms and cocks an eyebrow at Claude. I wouldn't fall in love with you no matter what you say. That's what they all say. We're here. Suddenly, everyone goes quiet. I feel a lot heavier as I stare at the staircase in front of me. This should lead to the throne room. I did not know we had a secret passage in the throne room. How much does Waltz know about the palace? Immediately after we step into the throne room, we split apart to avoid the guards' gazes. I stick close to Claude and Waltz as Delora conjures a blanket of shimmering fog that envelops the guards. I watch as the guards' eyes close before they slump to the ground. Delora drops her hands once all the guards are truly asleep. Amazing how intolerant humans are to magic. Let's keep going. Getting through the palace is no easy feat. Hallways that were easy to get through before are difficult to traverse now with all of the soldiers standing around. Delora casts a spell to silence our footsteps into quiet muffles, but moving is still difficult, especially with such a group. Eventually, we arrive just outside the tunnels that should lead to the castle prison. I'll stand watch. Be careful, Waltz. I will. We enter another network of tunnels. Jurian Garland, after you. Jurian glances at me briefly, and then Claude, who nods a little stiffly. We'll be right back. In accordance with the plan, Claude and I are left at the halfway point of the tunnels to ensure a clean escape as Delora, Jurian, and Garland continued on to the prison. They should be fine, but I am still worried. My eyes wander to Claude, and I bite down on my lower lip when I notice that his hand is once again raised to his chest. I find myself reaching out to grab Claude's hand, but he swiftly pulls it away. The glare on his face takes me by surprise. Why is he so angry? Claude puts a hand to his chest and flinches as he leans on the wall. Not now. His voice sounds pained. What is he talking about? Claude! I just need some space, Princess. But I am fine. I cannot help but feel irritated by the way Claude has snapped at me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be this way. He trails off, his eyes distant. Because of your curse, right? Most of the time he is sociable and is a pleasure to talk to, but then he reverts to this state. It is like he is two different people. I cannot understand why he is like this. Why do I care so much for someone who keeps secrets? Melody, I wish I could explain, but if I did, you would hate me. Or more accurately, you would be afraid of me. Why would I be afraid of you? You've never done anything frightening before. You aren't a frightening person. The only time you ever frighten me is when you're like this, when you look like you're in pain and when you keep secrets. The secrets are my own selfish desire, but they're for your safety too. You are talking in circles. Why won't you just tell me what's going on? Claude's voice trails off at the sound of running. His hand moves quickly to the hilt of his sword just as I reach for mine. We only relax when we see that it's Jurian, Garland, and Delora heading towards us. Why are they alone? Where are the king and queen? They weren't in the prison. I have no idea where else they could be. Delora steps out from between the two of them, her expression somber. This doesn't bode well for us at all. We can't keep sneaking around without a direction. That's a sure way to get caught. The words have just left her mouth when the alarm sounds behind us. Don't tell me. It's the alarm. Everyone draws their weapons as Waltz appears, running toward us with a harried expression on his face. The knights are on their way! How did they know we were here? In seconds I hear the clanging of metal, and then there are knights upon us. We are forced to scatter to deal with different opponents. A guard rushes at me with his sword, and I somehow manage to block his attack. I should be able to wind around him. The knight falls after I catch him from behind and give Claude an opening to attack him. Melody! A knight manages to separate Claude and I, leaving me by myself. He grabs my arm. Unhand me! I watch in shock as a shimmering fog surrounds my attacker, his eyes closing as he slumps to the ground. He is only the first to fall. Seconds later, most of the knights in my immediate vicinity have fallen to the ground. I can tell by the subtle rise and fall of their chests that they are asleep. Sorry, I couldn't focus long enough to cast that spell earlier. Delora drops her hands and turns to address Waltz, Claude, and I. Head towards the entrance hall. The king must be in one of the central rooms. Jurian, Garland, and I will head to the bedchambers in the east wing to look for the queen. Splitting up is not part of the plan. We don't have much of a choice anymore. If we're going to get the king and queen out of here, we have to improvise. Now go. Claude grabs my hand and jerks his head at Waltz. Let's go. The three of us rush out and into one of the palace hallways. I keep my gaze forward while Waltz and Claude watch for enemies on either side of us. On our right! Claude grabs his sword and moves before Waltz and I can respond. He dives low towards the soldier, his sword poised straight for a devastating blow. Knights begin to approach us from the left, and I raise my sword, readying myself. Waltz snaps his fingers, a flash of light blinding the men in the immediate vicinity, and I use the opportunity to rush the knights in front of me. I grit my teeth as I attack. Most of my blows were lucky. There are too many knights for me to be able to get the upper hand. There are so many of them! Well, well, if it isn't the most desirable princess. I whip around to attack the man that spoke to me, but he is nowhere to be found. Where is he? Who are you? I wonder. Melody! Oh my goodness. I turn and see Claude running toward me, a panicked expression on his eyes. I take a step toward him, and when a masked man suddenly blocks my... I take a step toward him when a masked man suddenly blocks my path. Oh my god. It's Fritz. Who are you? I raise my sword, but the masked man taps his cane on the floor before I can swing. An incredible pressure blasts out from the cane. It shoves Claude to the floor and blows me backwards. I hit the wall hard and my vision darkens. Uh-oh. Claude! Where am I? Why can't I see anything? My head hurts. Rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. I jerk upright at the familiar voice. You're the man who knocked me out! The man laughs, and I blink as I try to pinpoint the direction of his voice. Did he blindfold me? I command you to take off this blindfold! I don't take orders from princesses that no one remembers. But I am a gentleman, so I suppose I shall have to heed a lady's request. The blindfold is abruptly pulled off, and I flinch at the sudden brightness. Why, hello there, princess. My captor looks at me, amused. He wears a crooked grin on his masked face and a cape on his shoulders. Who is he? My eyes wander to the throne, and I cannot help but gasp at what I see. The king is strapped to the throne, hands bound, mouth covered. Your Majesty! The king pauses to look at me, his eyes containing a mixture of alarm and confusion. I turn to glare at the masked man. Let him go. No can do, princess. Though, don't you think he still looks regal sitting on his throne like that? I grit my teeth as I begin to struggle against my bonds. Struggle all you like. You won't get out of those knots anytime soon. Who are you? The masked man drops into an elegant bow. I am called Varge. Varge? What have you done to my father? Me? Nothing. I'm gonna call him Varge. I think it might be Varg. I don't know. Varg actually sounds better. Well, nothing much. I guess gagging a person and tying their hands behind their back counts as something. Are you working for Sir Alcaster? I don't work for anyone. So he's a mercenary. The door flies open and Alcaster steps in, his face full of anger. Mithros, the fool! How absolutely useless he was! Varg gives a dismissive shrug. He regards me again with his mischievous smile. Well, I do agree with that wholeheartedly. That man is in the past. Here in the present, we have someone far more interesting to deal with. And that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, by subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!